Is the Lucia number 3 a type of brainwave entrainment? The short answer to this is yes, because any type of rhythmic stimulation outside of ourselves that the electrical signals in our brainwaves, are responding to and changing in response to is entrainment. Now, what's often misunderstood about brainwave entrainment is the fact that there's multiple brainwaves occurring simultaneously in the brain. It's not like just because I'm talking right now, my beta brainwave is the only brainwave that's happening, and it's just one singular brainwave that's going across my entire brain. What's indeed happening is there's increased amplitude in beta brainwaves because they're associated with thinking, external actions such as talking, and so on. When you're really awake and focused in this kind of way, you have an increase in your beta brainwaves. Now, to understand light and sound devices and entrainment and compare them to the Lucia number 3, we'll talk about direct brainwave entrainment versus gentle brainwave entrainment that leads to harmonics, which is more like the Lucia light. So starting, in the early 1900s, when they first discovered the EEG, they realized that if you had a pulsing frequency, which would be light, it's called photic driving, you could get specific brain waves in the brain to increase in response to the rate of flicker. So what they found was 10 hertz is actually the frequency that the brain is responding most deeply to. So when you have 10 hertz of flickering light, that gets this alpha brainwave to really respond by increasing in amplitude. However, from here, what was developed was glasses, and these glasses had little LEDs inside of them, and then they had specific binaural beats, which is when there's 2 different sounds coming from each ear that creates a third tone the brain starts entraining to. Now, if they're exactly linked, then it's definitely working on increasing the amplitude of one brainwave at a time. This can put you into more of the kind of brainwave entrained states. The Lucia number 3 is a little bit different because the sessions on the light are not really defined by what exact frequencies they're getting you into, as much as helping you get out of the default mode network, which is a network inside the brain that we relate to in terms of a lot of our personality, our judgment, how we respond and react to life, and what decisions and ideas we have about the world around us. It's kind of what we hold on to as what we know and are proud of. When this gets turned down, which is the same in a psychedelic experience, for example, or inside of a state of deep meditation, we can actually start having communication between different parts of the brain. And what's seen in the EEG that's really interesting is a type of harmonics, and that means the different brain waves in the brain are all coming into this state where they're all related to each other in a similar frequency. They're harmonics of each other, just like a singing bowl. If I play this, it's one sound, but there's different harmonics of that same sound, and that resonance on these different harmonics is what creates the beautiful energy of a singing bowl. So you can think of the light as less of a direct brain entrainment in terms of trying to get you just into one brainwave state, and more like a harmonic opening. So it's encouraging your brainwaves to find their own natural connection between each other to find a harmonic pattern. When you get deep into these harmonic states, we think of it as really kind of breaking through in the light and going really deep into experience. What we found, though, that's very interesting, anecdotally for the most part, is that people who are experiencing a lot of depression, for example, could often have delta or theta brain waves in their waking state. So that means that, no matter how hard they're trying, they're feeling exhausted all the time, and all they want to do is just go back to bed because these brain waves are not going away. What the Lucia light seems to be able to do is to create kind of a pattern interruption in terms of the brain waves to help them resync to a more natural way of being. Of course, this doesn't always work directly for every person, and this is not any kind of treatment for anything that's wrong, but it is very interesting to see how people often really come back to their center, and in terms of the brain waves, it does seem to interrupt the pattern of what we're stuck on. It can also encourage, in these harmonic states, we can get a lot of kind of insights or downloads or be more connected to our intuition. So there's a little bit about brainwaves in the Lucia light.